Scott Dawson, wrestler. David Michael Harwood, born June 30, 1984, is an American professional wrestler. He is signed to WWE, where he performs on the Raw brand under the ring name Scott Dawson. Along with Dash Wilder, he is one half of the former two-time NXT Tag Team Champions and former Raw Tag Team Champions, The Revival. Professional wrestling career. Early career, 2004-2012. Harwood made his professional wrestling debut in 2004. He wrestled for a variety of independent promotions as KC McKnight, most notably for CWF Mid-Atlantic, WWE Superstars of Wrestling and a number of NWA-affiliated organizations including NWA Anarchy and Pro Wrestling Zero-1. In 2010, he made an appearance for Ring of Honor in a dark match prior to Raw The Big Bang. He also performed as KC McKnight at various North Carolina independents including United Professional Wrestling Association in Wilmington, North Carolina. He worked with the likes of Zane and Dave Dawson, Daniel Messina, Charlie Dreamer, Marcus Shields, etc. WWE. NXT, 2012-2017. Harwood signed with WWE in 2012 and was assigned to the WWE Performance Center, taking the ring name Scott Dawson. He made his television debut on March 7, 2013 episode of NXT, teaming with Judas Devlin in a 2-on-1 handicap loss to Adrian Neville. Dawson made a further appearance in an enhancement role on April 10 episode of NXT, in a 6-man tag team defeat against The Shield. In May 2013 Dawson formed a tag team with Garrett Dillon, with the two managed by Sylvester Leffert. On June 26 episode of NXT Dawson and Dillon lost a number 1 contenders match for the NXT Tag Team Championship to Corey Graves and Cassius Ohno. The team disbanded shortly afterwards when Dillon was released from the company. Following Dillon's release, Dawson initially worked as a singles competitor with little success and then formed a tag team with Alexander Rusev, who was also being managed by Leffert. Rusev and Dawson participated unsuccessfully in a contendership battle royal for the NXT Tag Team Championship on September 12 episode of NXT. Their alliance ended when Rusev turned on Leffert in favor of being managed by Lana, and shortly afterwards Dawson suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament which ruled him out of action for several months. On his return from injury, Dawson formed a team with Dash Wilder, with the two performing extensively at live events under the name The Mechanics. The duo made their debut on July 31, 2014 episode of NXT, losing to the team of Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rawley. The duo made only one further televised appearance in 2014, losing to Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy on October 23 episode of NXT, but continued to wrestle extensively at house shows. On the June 10, 2015 episode of NXT, Dawson faced Samoa Joe in a losing effort during the show's main event. Dawson and Wilder's team resurfaced and picked up their first televised win on the July 29, 2015 episode of NXT, defeating Amore and Cassidy. The duo were involved in an 8-man tag team match that was taped prior to NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn. At NXT TakeOver, Respect, Dawson and Wilder were defeated in the semi-finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic by eventual winners Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. On the October 21 episode of NXT, the Mechanics' ring name was changed to Dash and Dawson. On the November 11 episode of NXT, Dawson and Wilder defeated the Vaudevillains to win the NXT Tag Team Championship. They subsequently defended the titles against Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy at NXT TakeOver, London. Beginning in February 2016, the duo began performing under the team name The Revival. Dawson made his WWE main roster debut alongside Wilder at Roadblock, once again defending their NXT Tag Team Championships against Amore and Cassidy. On April 1 at NXT TakeOver, Dallas, The Revival lost the NXT Tag Team Championship to American Alpha, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, but the two won back the titles from American Alpha 2 months later at NXT TakeOver, The End. At NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn 2, The Revival retained the titles against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. On November 19, 2016 at NXT TakeOver, Toronto, the Revival lost the tag team titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match to Number DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. They failed in their attempt at winning back the titles at NXT TakeOver, Orlando on April 1, 2017, in a triple threat tag team elimination match. Main roster promotion, 2017-2018. On the Raw after WrestleMania 33 April 3 episode of Raw, the Revival answered an open challenge issued by The New Day. The Revival defeated The New Day, and afterwards attacked Kofi Kingston, who was not participating in the match. The team was on hiatus due to Wilder's injury. Wilder returned 7 weeks later on the May 22, 2017 episode of Raw, walking backstage during the sneak attack on Enzo Amore. Big Cass would later accuse both Wilder and Dawson as the attackers, but they denied this. 2 weeks later, on the Raw after Extreme Rules, the Revival also denied their involvement during the sneak attack on Cass, bringing out another suspect in Big Show. The June 19, 2017 episode of Raw revealed that the Revival had nothing to do with the attack and that Cass was never attacked. Corey Graves finally came to the conclusion that Cass was indeed the culprit behind Enzo's sneak attack after the Revival stated their alibi of being innocent. Wilder returned to in-ring competition on the June 26 taping of Main Event aired on June 30, teaming with Dawson to defeat Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows by pinfall. Dawson would have his first pinfall loss to Kalisto the following week. On August 7, 2017, WWE announced that over the weekend of August 5-6 at a live event in Canada, Dawson suffered an injury to his right bicep in a match against Cesaro and Sheamus. He was out of action for 5 to 6 months. Dawson returned on the December 18 episode of Raw with Wilder to defeat Heath Slater and Rhino. The Revival participated in the Raw Tag Team Eliminator Tournament to crown new champions, but lost in the semi-finals to Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. At SummerSlam 2018 pre-show, the Revival lost to Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel in an attempt to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. At Survivor Series, they were part of Team Raw, but lost to Team SmackDown in the 10-on-10 Survivor Series Tag Team Elimination match. Raw Tag Team Champions, 2018-present. Following this they began a feud against Lucha House Party and suffered various losses in handicap matches. On the December 17, 2018 episode of Raw, they defeated Lucha House Party, the B-Team, and AOP in a fatal 4-way match, receiving a title shot for the Raw Tag Team titles. During the next 2 Raw episodes they challenged Bobby Roode and Chad Gable for the titles, but Dawson and Wilder were unsuccessful to win the matches in controversial fashion. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer reported that the duo asked for their release from their WWE contracts following their match against Lucha House Party on the January 14, 2019 episode of Raw. On the February 11, 2019 episode of Raw, Dawson and Wilder defeated the team of Roode and Gable to win the Raw Tag Team Championships. They lost their titles at WrestleMania 35 to the team of Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins. Other media. Dawson appears as a playable character in WWE 2K17, WWE 2K18, and WWE 2K19. Personal life. In 2012, Harwood married Maria Nikopoulos. Together, they have a daughter, Casey, born 2014. He resides in North Carolina. Championships and accomplishments.